Warning! This highly educational video shows conventional and unconventional methods of pest control. We're dealing with stink bugs this time around, and if these little destructive critters take control of your citrus tree, you can kiss goodnight to ever having a lemon in your life. Okay, we've got some pest control to do today. This is one of our citrus trees in the backyard. It has got a huge infestation of stink bugs. Horrible things. They smell a lot. They destroy the trees. Actually, I've just noticed something out the corner of my eye down in the garden here, which looks rather nice. Oh, this is a nice discovery, and I'll just very carefully come in with my hand and grab this. Maybe you can tell what it is by the sound it's making. Because I'm being inquisitive, Mrs. Inquisitive has just turned up, Fluffy the cat. But what I have in my hand here, it's male because of the sound it's making. I think it's a flowery baker. That style of cicada. Wow, it's very feisty, very feisty. Just trying to show you some close-ups here. It is beautiful. It looks like it's dusted with flour. I was going to say it's almost like a ghost cicada. Some people might say that's a ghost cicada, and if you look underneath, I think it's got some nice colouring. Okay, we're getting there. I've just repositioned my hand. That is a stunning cicada. There's the drums there. Look at that orange, hey? And a black backside. I don't know what you call the backside. Absolutely stunning. That straw in the middle is a thing they feed with. They feed on the saps of trees. They only have a very short few weeks in this phase here. But that is a very, very nice looking cicada. It's not often I see ones like that. This cicada season's really been a mixed bag. It hasn't been dominated by the black ones, and I think they all come back in 2020, although I might be wrong. We'll let this little guy free, eh? Well, it looks like he's ready for flying. He's reaching out into the sky there. Point him in the right direction, into the wind, I hope, and away he goes. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, and woo! Oops, might have crash landed on the house over there. Sorry for that cicada interruption, but it was worth going there. Now, the problem with this tree is because it's always had an infestation of stink bugs on it, it's never borne any fruit. The stink bugs basically suck on the sap of this tree. Any little fruit that appears, they're going to take it out. And I think from what I can see, is it's all adult stink bugs on this tree, and some of them are mating. So that might be a little bit too much for YouTube to comprehend. I think when they're black like this, we're dealing with full-blown adults. I think when they're a golden colour, that's their adolescence. I think that might be an adolescent there that I'm pointing a finger at. Horrible things, and they spray stuff at you. The birds don't eat them as well. And it's one of these things, the more you look on this tree, the more you're going to see. They can be very hard to see when they're nymphs because they're green, just like the leaves. I think they are adolescent ones there. I hope I'm right. I know you'll correct me if I'm totally wrong. So I've painted you a pretty clear picture of what's going on this citrus tree, which hasn't borne fruit but has become an infestation area for stink bugs. Stink bugs are difficult to deal with. We've tried chemical controls in this tree. It never seems to work. I've done some reading on the internet. There are a couple of ideas of spraying a tree with water and then spraying the bugs with methylated spirits. Well, let's just see how that works. Right in the middle of the screen is a great big family of stink bugs on another tree, and I'm going to come in and spray them. Okay, where have they gone? Now to find them. Well, they were meant to drop to the ground there. That's what I read. They didn't do that. All they've done is they've interspersed in that tree again and decided to set up different little areas. So let's bend it the other way and let's use some heat. I've got this little weed dragon, although it's a little bit weak for weeds. Okay, you need bigger ones than this. Let's turn this on and turn up the heat. It's one of these things, gas on, and click it here. Yeah, that's the sound I like. Okay, I'm going to come in and I'm going to find some stink bugs here. I'm going to drop them down, I hope, with this heat. Yeah, oh yeah, they're dropping like flies, I hope. Hopefully we can drop quite a few. Although that one's been quite stubborn. Wow, it is hanging in there. Might need some more heat, I think. Okay, who else can we drop here? Yeah, that's actually a little bit of fun. I think I need a little bit more heat though. Oh, they are dropping. Yeah, there's a whole bunch in there. Okay, well let's just see what we've got down on the ground. Well, problem number one is it hasn't killed them outright, so I've got to come in with a double stinger here. There's another one trying to escape there. Look at it. Well, they are quite resilient to heat, aren't they? And there's another one here. In fact, yeah, they all needed double stingers. That one's down, and so's that one there. That's shaky leg syndrome after severe burns. Ooh, crikey, Charlie's. That's actually a very good haul. I wasn't in that tree for very long. I didn't put that much fire in the tree, and this is what has dropped. A lot of these needed a double hit of fire to take them out. As you can see, some are still thriving. I'm pretty sure that's the younger ones, which have got that colouring and the dot. I hope I'm right there. When they're adult, they turn to the other colour there. It looks like a whole bunch of breeders in there, if you ask me. And believe me, these are nothing but pests, and they destroy trees. Now, my theory is if I come in with a hotter flame on that tree that we've got the real problems with, I'll be able to drop a whole ton more than that there. So here's the infested tree. I have got a plan of attack. First off, I wet down the area all around here. I put some aluminium down so when the bugs drop from the intense heat, we'll be able to pick them up. And I think I'll start from the bottom and rake my way up because heat rises. There's an educational part to this video, and I might have to do it a couple of times over to get all the stink bugs taken out. So starting at the bottom and working our way up. Start at the bottom again, work our way up. Oh, they're dropping like flies, they're dropping like flies. Yeah. I've just done one side, I can see that's very successful. Now I'll come in and I will rake flames up the other side of this tree. Get in at least one good night, sister. Yeah. Okay, coming up the other side. Don't have to do it too long. They drop like flies. I tell you, they just drop down real fast. Okay, going in there. Start from the bottom again. Make sure we get the whole tree. Yeah. Crispy critters, and they smell good too. From what I can see, I do believe the population of stink bugs is off the tree there, and I tell you what, it didn't take too much flame to eradicate those pests. Well, I'll tell you what, you may not be able to see what's down there because it looks all shadowy from the leaves of the tree, but there are so many stink bugs taken out, it's not funny. And the best thing of all is I can't see too many of them which still have life left in them. Yes, lots of dead, nasty, stinking stink bugs, and I'll get them over into the tray here and we'll just see how many I've collected, and there's lots. This is now over on the other side and it's a massive number of stink bugs again. I'll just get them into my little tray there. Some of them still wriggling, but hey, they won't be wriggling much longer. I just noticed a sneaky one on the trunk there. Good night, sister. Busted. And what's good about that bigger flame is it takes very little heat to totally knock them out. That's what we want to see. I'll put that with all the others. Now I want to look over this citrus tree now. Well, I'm struggling to see any stink bugs. Sure, that would have been a bit of heat stress there, but the amount of stress the stink bugs are putting into this tree was really knocking it down. In fact, I think there's a spider there which has somehow survived that heat attack. It's there, right in the middle of the screen. It may have been sheltered by a leaf. Miraculous survival there. Let's just see my haul of horrid stink bugs here. Okay, here they come. Yuck! Now I've got a bit of a problem here because it looks like some of these are still wriggling, but I think I can just quickly sort that out. This tends to stop wriggling. Good night, little sisters. Okay. I can't see a sign of life now, but crikeys, they stink. They've emitted their horrible whatever they do, and I will just get them back into this container here. And when you take a look at them down there, I think most people would be surprised that that many stink bugs came from that tree, because when we looked over that tree initially, there's no way you could see that many stink bugs hiding out in the citrus tree. But that's sort of the insidious little game these little critters play. These are the stink bugs from that first tree. When I use the smaller burner, I'll just add them across to the other stink bugs. So that was the weed dragon. I think it was called a hot devil. I hope I'm right there. It's a little bit baby. I did use it on some weeds and the weeds, well, basically didn't die. That's the igniter there for it. And the burner on it, yes, I suppose you can come in and get stink bugs, but you've got to come in and do a double kill to make it work properly. I'm just down here trying to find the lovers, the ones that were coupled together, because, well, they'd be unionized and now they'd be carbonized. but I'm having no luck finding the lovers. In the heat of the moment, they might have uncoupled. Well, I have got plans for my barbecued stinking friends there. I know there's an ant colony around here somewhere. I might have to move a few bricks to really reveal it. Ooh, looks like a redback spider thing going on there. Ah! Yes, I've got the sort of garden you need to always wear your gloves. If I lift this up, we might. Yes, there are the ants there. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll throw some stinkies there. I'm not sure whether the ants are going to eat this or whether they're just going to panic. Okay. Well, they've turned into hyper crazy ants. They're all over those stink bugs there. Wow, I wonder how long it's going to take them to pull that down. I'm not exactly sure if the ants know what to do with that, but boy oh boy, they're crawling over the camera and up on my gloves, so it might be time to turn the camera off. Maybe the best thing to do is to give them back their little recluse area down there. Nice and gently, of course, and hate to kill any ants. I think there's another ant colony underneath here. I'm starting to understand where the ant colonies are in the backyard. Yes, it's just there. I might throw them a couple of stink bugs. I might be doing the right or wrong thing here, but hey, plenty of food in there. Nice Christmas feast. As for the rest of them, I'll put them here. I'm not sure whether the birds will come and feed on these, because I never see the birds feeding from these in the trees. Now I know the birds are hanging about, but will they see that as a meal? I must say, Mummy Citrus there is looking a little bit, well, heat affected. Mind you, it was going to get pulled out because the stink bugs had basically destroyed the fruit bearingness of this tree. If fruit bearingness is a word, I'm going to give this a very, very serious water. I have removed the aluminium plates from underneath, so the water will go into the root system. And my bet is that this tree will come back to full health and bear fruit as long as we keep the stink bugs away from this tree. And there's one thing I can tell you with great confidence, there's basically no stink bugs left on that citrus tree. They've all become crispy critters. Okay, well I'm just keeping very still. I've just noticed a mud dauber wasp, and because I've been making some wet ground here, it's come in here for some mud. Oh, they move fast, don't they? This is a bit of a bonus. It's just checking out the area. I'm just keeping very still at the moment and watching what it does. It's that time of year when they're making their nests. It's just gone behind there. No, it's just gone there. Just gone there. Moving all over the place. There it is on the ground. It's got a certain sound to it. It's grabbing the mud. I've never seen this side of it, okay? What a bonus to see that. Wow, they move around fast. It's a bit shonky, sorry, but I've never seen this side of them collecting mud. I'll just go out wide a bit. Wow. They make the same sound collecting the mud as they do when they're packing it. It's just flown away. That was a bonus. Never seen that before. Never seen them collecting the mud. I'm thinking if I keep wetting down over there, it's going to make the mud dauber wasp's job a bit easier. We haven't had very much rain, so it's probably very pleased to find something a bit moist. As for this larger citrus tree, I will come in here with a smaller burner and I'll take out the selected pockets of stink bugs which are in this tree. It's nowhere near as affected as that other smaller citrus tree. There's fruit bearing on this tree, but I will come in and I will control the stink bugs in time. This is the next day. A couple of curious things have gone on. I've just turned off this quite bizarre sprinkler, and the stink bugs, and I watched this all yesterday because they laid out here, not one bird came and looked at this, pecked at it. It's a bit wet because the sprinkler was on, but I have got some good news. I know who likes to eat these guys up. The thing that I don't quite understand, and maybe I need to understand, is do these things have natural predators? I'm pretty sure birds don't touch them on the trees. I've witnessed the birds ignore this bowl of meal, stinky meal that is, and if you remember, yesterday I left some stink bugs under this bricks here because I know there's an ant nest under here, and if we take a look under here very carefully without getting bitten by redback spiders, we might see, haha, the ants are having a fantastic meal. I've got a sneaky suspicion there's actually two types of ants there. I can also see a hole there, so they've got their condominium built up inside the brick. Well, if you ask me, that looks like the beginning of a giant ant colony war. Look at them acting really strange. Doesn't look normal to me. Some crazy stuff going on there, and maybe the best way to quell a war is to make sure everybody gets fed. And what I'll quite simply do is put the stink bugs there. There's a lot of food there now. Put those stink bugs there, and I'll just very carefully move that brick back over this. Food for everyone, there's enough there for 1 billion years. And maybe they'll turn into some of the fattest ants on the planet. This is a citrus tree that I firebombed yesterday. Mummy came home, that's Mummy's my wife. And I said to her, hey, I resolved the stink bug issue. And she said, yeah, that's great. And you've also successfully killed the tree. I think that tree will come back. Okay, it was under a lot of stink bug stress. Mummy's actually come along and clipped bits off this, so maybe she thinks it's going to survive. I'm just hoping that the heat I put into this tree has also taken out any of the eggs that the stink bugs may have laid up under the leaves. They are very hard to see as nymphs because they're the same colour as the leaves, and they're very hard to see where they lay their eggs and do their nasty stuff. But a lot of breeders on that tree. The other thing I did late yesterday afternoon, was I came in and I gave this tree here some little selected blips of fire with a smaller burner. And yes, the stink bugs dropped down. They didn't initially die. I had to give them a bit of a double hit. That was the first bit that I did. You'll get a bit of dieback, but I'm pretty sure this tree will come back. There's actually a lot of fruit on that tree, but I wanted to get rid of the stink bug colonies that I saw building up in there. And that there on the ground is what dropped down after the little bit of extra fire I put into the bigger tree. Some of those guys are still alive, but I don't think they can move because, well, the flames take out their wings. If you haven't got wings, you can't fly anywhere else. And I think that's going to become another giant meal for the ants that live up this part of the yard. Am I in any way sad seeing that stink bug struggling there? No, because these things are pests. And there's one thing about ants is they don't mince about when it comes to feeding. There are some stink bugs down there which have basically been totally eaten out. I'm glad they've come to some good purpose in life. I'm starting to understand that possibly having lots of ant colonies in the backyard is a very good thing, because there's something I noticed going on this larger citrus tree that I didn't see on the smaller one that I incinerated yesterday. This tree, unlike the other citrus tree, seems to have a lot of ant activity going on. Ants coming and going all the time. So from my simple understanding and seeing what's going on with one citrus tree versus another, I've got a feeling the ants have been, well, controlling the stink bugs on the tree. Maybe I'm totally wrong. But maybe I need to get these ants to understand where the redback spiders are, and I think that might resolve much of the problem in my backyard. Ants are incredibly awesome, and they stop at nothing to conquer the planet. Nothing can stand in the way of an ant colony. I know, some people say, oh, but Leo, where did Fluffy get to? Well, here she is doing some of her best work. She's laid right out. Hey, Fluff, what did you think of the video? Thanks for your help. You were very helpful in this one, weren't you? Oh, look at her. She doesn't give a hoot. And when I see her like that, well, you know what? She's doing some of her best work.